Aloha, I'm Yenji Denise. Welcome to Get Your House in Order, where we help you take care of the things that matter most. In this series, we cover a wide range of topics from health and wellness to financial readiness and preparing for every phase of life. Today, we are talking about physical fitness. We all need to take care of our bodies. We know that health is wealth. Today, I'm joined first by Paulette Ito, Senior Vice President at Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union. Paulette, great to see you. We tend not to think about physical fitness and financial fitness together, but how do you think these two things intersect?
I believe they have a symbiotic relationship because without good health, how do you spend your wealth, right? And also with Get Your House in Order, we're not only focusing on physical wellness and financial wellness, but also your spiritual wellness and your mental wellness as well. Because we think together, all four of those components create the whole person. And that's what we want to do with Get Your House in Order. Look at the whole person and help them prepare.
Tell me about the resources that you've put together as part of this campaign.
We have our website at hificu.com. You can go there and you can download our Ho'okele guidebook. We have 3 guidebooks that are out now, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. They all together form a guidebook, a roadmap for you to prepare for anything that could come your way through all the aspects that we're talking about: physical, mental, spiritual wellness, and financial wellness. We have decided to put it into different aspects of the planning of present, future, and today.
Okay, and when we think about physical fitness and the financial fitness that you've sort of laid out, I mean, are we actually talking about going to a gym and getting fit?
It could be. It could be about, everybody needs to stay healthy, and one of the ways to get healthy is to go out and start walking, getting your heart moving. You want to be able to live a healthy life, and you can't do it by staying in a book. You have to be able to go out and move your body as well. So it's physical fitness in that way, but it's also taking a look at when you get older, how do you move? Mobility. You might have mobility issues. Just because maybe you can't lift your arms, maybe there's some things that you can do to get your upper body moving again. So you have to take a look at all the resources that are available.
Important to realize that we are a whole person: mental, physical, spiritual, financial, all
Everything.
of it together. I love
Yes.
that. Okay. Well, coming up, we'll be speaking with a personal trainer who has worked with clients from age 9 all the way to 90. Find out his best advice at any age. But first, we'll hear from someone whose experience shows us why investing in your health is always a wise choice.
Hi, I'm Marie Imanaka from Honolulu, and I've known Brad Krzykowski for about 17 years. I started training because my eldest son told me I was slow on the tennis court, and I was so insulted. I thought I better do something about it. In addition, I was getting close to 50, and I noticed things were hanging where I don't like it. So I met up with Brad where he was at the Honolulu Club. What I value the most about training with Brad is that he customizes everything to whatever's going in my life, to my long-term goals, and he even has an intellect around nutrition, inside the body. He's very perceptive about your emotional state, and he's just a good, down-to-earth person. I highly recommend everybody get out there, no matter what age you're at, no matter what physical state you believe you're at, and just do it, because for me, it's helped not just the physical aspect, but more so the mental state. You have to think when you do these things. It's helped my emotional state. Being active is a huge stress reliever, and it just puts your mind at ease, and you just feel good about yourself. And the fact that I have a personal trainer makes me go. It's a commitment, and it's an investment, in myself, and I hope you can make the same investment too.
For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com.
Welcome back to Get Your House in Order. We are speaking today with Brad Krzykowski, owner and master trainer at Beyond Fitness in Kakaako. Now, Brad, I read in your bio you work with clients from 9 to 90. Tell us, is there ever an age that's too old to do physical fitness?
Really not. It's not necessarily about age, but like what they can do. We focus a lot on ability more so than age. And so almost anybody can do something. It might be some mobility work. If they're sitting in a chair, we might work on some shoulder mobility work. If they can get up on their feet and walk, we might work on some balance training, some stability stuff. And so everybody has something they could work on for the most part, no matter what their age.
Now, do you really work with clients in their 90s?
And above, yeah.
And above.
And
Tell
above,
us about that. And what does a workout for someone in that age group look like?
Yeah, again, it depends on where a person's at. That's one of the nice things when working one-on-one with a coach or a trainer, is that that trainer looks to see what you're capable of, what your goals are, and to kind of individualize that session so that you're kind of maximizing results and minimizing risks of injury. So it could be walking and pretending like you're on a balance beam, to work on lateral stability. It could be doing some exercises up against the wall where they have a little bit more stability, but they can work on some strength safely without the risk of falling. So actually, it's kind of fun. It's challenging to work with folks who are kind of getting up in age, but it's really rewarding because when they feel better and their mood improves, and some of them, their kids bring them in to work with me and they say, thanks, mom's always in a good mood after she sees you. That's nice to hear, and it's nice to have that impact on folks even when they're getting up in age.
Yeah, and what kind of a difference can this make in your quality of life day to day if you do this kind of physical exercise on a regular basis?
Yeah, well, you hit it. It's all about quality of life. I mean, that's kind of why we talk, why our name is Beyond Fitness. It's not about just lifting weights or counting reps. It's about what they're able to do outside of the gym. If they can continue to travel, for instance, because they can still walk well on their own, they can still lift their bags from the baggage compartment, and that's the part where that's the rewarding side of working with folks as they're getting older.
There might be some people who are watching who feel a little intimidated by walking through the doors of a gym. What do you suggest for people how they begin a physical fitness journey?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to necessarily begin or even end in a gym. Lucky we live Hawaii, right? I mean, we have usually such great weather here. So, getting outside, taking a walk, getting out in the mornings and starting your day with maybe it's a 10-minute walk, a 15-minute walk. Maybe you work yourself up to doing an hour walk in the morning. That physical fitness doesn't mean like you have to go join a gym necessarily, but there's lots of options. Getting in the water here, getting in the ocean, going for a hike. Those are all things that help be physically active, maybe without working out, but that are going to have a positive impact on your health and as you age, on your mobility and on your independence.
The whole point of this show is really focusing on every phase of life and all aspects, and so that's why we invited you on. But how do you think that your mental fitness, your physical fitness, your financial fitness, how do those all intertwine?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm still amazed at like the two-way street, for instance, between like mental fitness or mental wellness and physical wellness. And I think plenty of people were really challenged over the last 3 years, for instance, by the pandemic. There are a lot of stresses on folks and a lot of uncertainty there, and kind of maybe mental wellness was impacted for a lot of people. But exercise and being physically active was one of those things that we actually had some control over during that time. When things were being shut down and we were being told what we kind of could and couldn't do for a while, getting outside and taking a walk was something that we could still make a choice to do. And then it was amazing how, getting out and moving and getting some exercise in, how that, for me and a lot of the clients that I work with, can help with that mental side as well. Where it's like, I feel better. Like exercise was kind of like a bright spot in the gloom of COVID, and then it kind of builds on, the mental builds on the physical and vice versa. So For a lot of people, it's kind of a starting point in feeling better during that time and kind of getting out of the funk of what the last 3 years.
Yeah, and there is this feeling of sort of use it or lose it, right? We've heard that when it comes to physical fitness. If I don't engage these muscles, maybe I won't have them. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, fortunately or unfortunately, that is kind of how it works. And I tell people, like, if you won't use it, or if you don't use it, you maybe won't use it one day, right? Kind of a similar statement. But you really do need to keep yourself moving, keep yourself functional, right? Or kind of one day things become a little bit harder. You might even find that, oh, I can't do stairs, or it's really hard, for instance, it's hard for me to do stairs, or it's hard for me to lift my grandchildren, where maybe that was easier. They grow, so they do get heavier. But keeping yourself physically fit is part of that formula, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got much more to come with Brad, including his thoughts on how physical, mental, and financial fitness all fit together and where diet comes in. That's when we come back.
Too old to work out? Physical training depends more on one's ability rather than age. Almost everyone at every age has something they could work on. Some clients in their 90s are still training. A personal trainer can assess each client's unique situation and maximize gains and minimize risk.
Long's Drugs is always here for Hawaii, providing your family with their local favorites, accessible health and wellness services to keep you safe and healthy. Make Long's a part of your day.
Welcome back. We are speaking with Brad Krzykowski of Beyond Fitness. Now, Brad has a bachelor's degree in exercise science and a master's in nutritional science. So let's talk about how diet and exercise work hand in hand.
Sure.
Well, tell us, there's so many diets out there. We know there's low carb, low fat, there's keto. Now people are all in intermittent fasting. How do I know which diet is right for me?
Yeah, there's a lot of trends, right, that kind of come through, and some have come and passed, others maybe stick around. But in terms of diet and meeting your body's needs, that's the key, right? If we think of our car, for instance, there's certain things that we need to do to keep it running, right? We need to make sure it has gasoline in it. We need to change the oil sometimes. We need some washer fluid, right? And so your body, in a much more complex way, too, needs certain things on a regular basis. So, and those are the nutrients that we consume in the foods that we eat. So, in terms of kind of optimal function, it's like we got to make sure that we're consuming those nutrients through food that our body ultimately needs to thrive. So the water intake, the protein and carbohydrate and fat, that's all important, as well as those micronutrients, vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals that we get from the foods that are beneficial to our health. That's all part of having a good, wholesome, kind of well-rounded diet.
So when we're trying to assess if our diet is healthy, there are certain things we know we need to skip, the fried foods, let's say. But, how do I know if I'm getting enough of those micronutrients that you're talking about? Should I keep a food diary for a while? What can I do to kind of have a real good assessment of my diet and whether or not it's meeting my needs?
Yeah, sometimes you don't know necessarily. Sometimes if you're going to do your blood work, something and your blood work might say, oh, you're might be deficient in a particular vitamin or nutrient, but a lot of times you may not know. But eating a variety of foods in your diet, for instance, eating kind of moderate in terms of fried foods, or alcohol, or say empty calories that aren't providing a lot of nutrients is a good strategy. Making sure that you're consuming foods from different food groups that provide those different nutrients are all ways that kind of help ensure that you're getting the different nutrients that your body needs.
Okay, let's go back to that exercise piece. I know that you said when you're just starting out, perhaps just taking a walk is a good place to start. How do I know if I need to start adding, weight training? Should I be focusing just on the cardio? What is that balance?
Yeah, well, we kind of joke that, you get out of an exercise program what you put into it. So walking's great, like doing some kind of activity, and you may not count it as exercise, but, getting out and, we said, taking a walk or going for a swim or something can kind of be that base, right? That base of okay, I'm getting out and I'm living an active lifestyle. One of the things as you age, you may notice that the body changes a little bit, right? And over time, we may lose some muscle, we may lose some of our strength, maybe some of our function. So incorporating some strength training, some functional training, some kind of movement-based exercise that helps us with our, our movements that we need in life, in a day. If it's picking up your suitcase or your dog or your kids, or I have stairs at my house, so hauling groceries up from Costco up a couple of flights of stairs. Those are things that ultimately help me continue to, kind of live an active lifestyle that, people should consider.
Well, I like what you said about this whole idea of functional exercise, that this is really not necessarily just about looking good, but it's about, your body being an instrument that you need to use. I need
Absolutely.
to be able to get off the couch and get out of bed and those kinds of things. So how do you assess sort of what you need? Is it, oh, I'm having trouble standing up, or I'm having trouble, like you said, going up the stairs? How do you figure that piece out?
Yeah. So for instance, like when we meet with a new client coming into the studio, that's the first part, is trying to understand where this person is, understanding a little bit about where they've been, maybe some of the activities or sports or things that they used to do, and then where do they want to go. And now we're going to set some realistic goals and targets maybe for how we're going to get there, so we can come up with a plan ultimately to determine, because there's so many things one could do for exercise and options nowadays, from whether it's a yoga class or Pilates or a CrossFit or a group exercise or whatever. There's so many things, right? So what's good for them. We try to determine that by kind of figuring out where they are now, where they've been, and where they want to go.
Okay, well, still ahead, we're going to continue our conversation with Brad and ask him the one exercise he thinks we all should be doing. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Best exercise. For most, walking is the easiest and most readily available exercise. Any regular physical exercise enhances mood and performance.
Windows Hawaii. Windows are not only designed to beautify your home, but also to make your home more secure, energy efficient, and virtually noise-proof. Contact Mario now for your free in-home estimate. 808-671-0808.
Welcome back. We are speaking today with Brad from Beyond Fitness here in Kakaako, talking about physical fitness. Okay, we teased that in the last break. What is the one exercise you think we should all be doing?
So it might surprise you, that being a studio gym owner, to say this, but walking is such a great way to get out and do something active pretty much every day. And so we're so lucky that we live in Hawaii, where the weather is really nice most of the time, and that just stepping outside our door and taking a stroll is, for the most part, possible. The weather won't keep us in as much as some other places might, but getting out and establishing a regular routine of exercise that's not too straining on your body, that way that you can do it every day, so that the impact is great. That little bit of weight bearing that you're doing while walking, for folks who may be concerned about osteoporosis. Of course, safety is crucial, right? So, if you can't walk well, or if you need assistance, or it's dark out, keep safety in mind always. But getting out for a walk, just about every day is, that a lot of my clients, that's become part of their morning routine, and they feel like that's really been essential for them for their physical health, but also for their mental health. They just feel better. They go through the day with more energy, and they're happier, and they're more patient, and it's something that they look forward to doing. They enjoy going for that walk.
When we think about engaging a personal trainer, I think a lot of people think that's just for folks who really want to get buff, who needs a personal trainer, and how should you best choose one?
Yeah, good question. So that's kind of up to the individual and how comfortable they are with exercise. If they have an injury, or they're maybe dealing with a physical condition that they're just not sure what to do and how to do it safely. That's one of the great benefits of having a trainer, is that safety is like number one with our clients. I tell people we're going to do a safe, effective, and enjoyable exercise routine together. So safety is a big one. So if people are concerned that they might hurt themselves, that's a great reason. Or if they kind of have trouble keeping it going on their own, right?
That was my next question, is how do we stick to this, right? Because first of the year comes around, we get really jazzed, we're starting this new program, we're starting this new diet, and by March, It's gone.
What
so
resolution?
Right. How do we sustain that? Maybe having a personal trainer just kind of keeps us honest, right?
There is that accountability factor, you know. I mean, some people say, you know, I'm paying for you, so I'm going to show up. So that's a factor as well, but kind of making it a priority. You know, it's kind of another level of commitment for yourself to be meeting with someone. And that could be a trainer, that could be a friend or a coach, or even like a small group of people that get together to walk or run or exercise. But like the accountability factor is another one, that if somebody struggles with that, you know, when we say, oh, we will see you on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m., you can guarantee that we're going to be there at 10 a.m. You know, we're not somebody that might, you know, decide, oh, actually, I have some other plans that came up, so I can't make it. You know, it's one of the really important things is that keeping a person consistent with their exercise program. We preach that probably more than anything, is that you want to think about strategies that are going to help you be very consistent about your exercise program.
One thing I love is group fitness because of that accountability, but also there is this nice thing that happens with community building when you work out with others. Tell me about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's motivating, right? It makes it fun. You know, we do mostly one-on-one training, but we also do partner training and some small group work at our studio. And so oftentimes when you start adding more people, more personalities, right, it really ups the fun and it makes it even more of an enjoyable experience and one that people look forward to. I tell folks, like, that's one of the differences in an exercise program than maybe like a physical therapy or something, is that hopefully they want to come. You know, it's not that they necessarily have to come, and hopefully we don't make them feel like they are forced to come, you know, against their will, you know, to a workout. But you know, they really kind of genuinely, internally want to be there and want to make themselves better, like want to be healthier. So it's kind of an interesting difference, I would say, between like personal training and like a physical therapist.
When people are starting out on this, what do you think is the biggest mistake folks make?
Biggest mistake? Well, one of the mistakes we see oftentimes is, like we talked about a little bit earlier, like the lack of consistency, right? Like if they're weekend warriors, for instance, or maybe they travel a lot, or, you know, they just don't show up to some of their appointments. Like inconsistent training and exercise kind of leads to more injury risk, leads to, you know, less success in terms of being, you know, reaching those goals. Like consistency is one of the most important things that we preach.
Wonderful advice today. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being here. We definitely got motivated. Get out there and take that walk. Remember, you can always review this show by watching it again on YouTube or listen to it as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Yenji Denise. Until next time, take care and aloha.